Okay, now welcome back once again. So far, we've talked about the bystander effect, what it is, and what some of the inner workings of it are that allow it to function psychologically. So now that we know that it's a problem and we understand the problem a little bit better, now let's talk about a solution for the bystander effect. And what are we going to do about it? Um, I will, talk about some of the uh, longer term, um, issues first. The first thing that we can do, and generally you don't see me say this a lot because I'm always bitching about posts on Facebook and some conspiracy theorists posting something to try to get the word out, and in most cases it's just a bunch of BS. In this case, not. Um, this in this case, I encourage everybody to share this, to share this video or the link to this blog, where people can watch them and share it with everybody. I actually encourage that for every video, but this one specifically because it actually serves a function. Because one of the biggest um, ways to break down pluralistic ignorance is education. Um, because once you understand that it's a problem and you understand what's going on, you're less likely to buy into it. If you already knew ahead of time, then it's less likely that somebody's going to do something, and more than likely, a lot of these people feel the same way you do, but they're not doing anything. If you knew that, you would be more likely to do something. You would, if you know that there may not be anybody more qualified, than you to do something about it. Maybe it destroys social proof. Education destroys the herd mentality. Some of your, the hallmark of any great nation is, it's educated peoples. Um, and so, I encourage you to share this, like I say, as a long-term fix. Now, the problem with long-term fixes is they take a while to work. We covered this in the societal change delusion as well. Going back to to that kind of a thing. Which, if you want to know more about that one, go back to that episode and watch it. But it basically somebody not wanting a short term goal and just wanting to focus on a long term goal, and really you need both. But there's people that need help now that can't wait for society to change, and there's people that might need help soon, that can't wait for everyone to become educated about the bystander effect and what to do about it. So let's look now at something more immediate, that's might get help quicker. First and foremost, I don't want you to think that just that something this happens and like nobody's ever going to help. Sometimes they do. It's just you just can't depend on it. And the people that are going to help are going to be your people that have some kind of a perceived connection to the person who's being victimized. These people are going to help. And I'll give you a perfect example. It's actually in one of the videos that'll be embedded in this blog that you can watch later. That was an experiment that NBC did. Um, I'll give you the setup. There was a girl, which they were actors, but the people around didn't know it. There was a girl that was pretending to be really, really super drunk, and just drunk enough to where she couldn't really function. And this other guy shows up and starts buying her more drinks. Then tries to lead her away from the bar, back to the hotel. Well, on the way out, um, one of the other customers is sitting there watching this, which a lot of them didn't do squat, and you hear people saying, don't get involved, it's terrible. But one of the guys was like, no, and he was really adamant about it, and he was ready to go at this guy if it's like, hey, she not going anywhere with you because she don't know you, she don't know you, you're not going anywhere, and he went back off, so the guy left. Well, the guy was an actor, but he goes ahead and leaves, and they asked the guy afterward, man, why did you, what made you do something and the others didn't do it? And he said he had a daughter that felt like was the same age as the girl in the experiment, And and these kids get murdered every year, and he couldn't bear to do it. When he looked at her, he saw his daughter, um, and and so he intervened. The and and that that happens some, but like I said, you can't depend on it. The shame about our society is with things like Facebook and Twitter and droids and iPads and and everything else, we have more ways of being connected to each other emotionally than we've ever had at any point in our history. But at the same time, ironically, we're probably more disconnected from each other than we've ever been, ever. And that's a damn shame. But in some of the other experiments, there was a guy, like I said, you can look at the videos on your own time, but we'll give you the links to them. But there was a guy, I believe he was laying on some stairs. I can't remember exactly what it was, but he just kind of dressed like a bum or whatever. And he acted like something was wrong with him, but no one would help him. But when he put on a business suit, like the business people walking by, then everybody ran to help him. So that's one of the things. And, when one person helps, then the others are more likely to help. Because what that does is when one person helps, it breaks down the pluralistic ignorance, because now mentally everyone and psychologically everyone around knows that it's not a consensus. And so since everyone is not allowed to believe that there's a consensus and that there is dissenting views, then pluralistic ignorance can't flourish. At the same time, for like social proof, maybe they think the person that, jumped in was the one that was qualified or whatever, but it breaks down all of that and makes it more likely that once one person, goes, the other go, which is, I guess, sort of like herd mentality as well. But that's something that can happen on its own that doesn't really, require you to do anything. But I don't want you to think, that like, there's a chance like nobody's going to do something. There is a chance that people can actually help, but that's what it requires. It requires someone that feels some kind of connection to the situation, or I think there was one a bullying situation. Now this was a one-on-one thing, but it still kind of illustrates my point. Though it's not necessarily a bystander effect, where they were doing another experiment, and this guy was getting bullied. This guy takes out his phone and starts filming. He's like, "Hey, what are you filming? What are you filming for? You're hurting the guy. You're hurting the guy." I'm not going to do a fake, accent or whatever. That's terrible. But they're just saying it basically is filming a guy because they were both students there, and he didn't think anybody should be, have to be treated like that. That's kind of an example of someone who would intervene, even when it's a group dynamic. Now, let's say you don't have someone who's going to intervene. Like I said, you can't depend on anyone to intervene. Yelling help generally isn't going to get it done, because then they're all going to be standing around waiting on someone else to help. Back in the old days, they used to tell women who are being raped, don't yell help, yell fire, because if you yell help, no one's going to come. Problem is, you yell fire, there's still nobody going to help you. They're going to run by, to save their own ass, get out of the fire. They may see you on the way and be standing outside, talking like, man, did you see that woman? I think she was getting raped. And then the other one be like, well, damn, I hope she didn't burn up in that fire. That's, people are shitty like that. The way to do it is this. The one to attack, out of the three things that we talked about, pluralistic ignorance, social proof, and diffusion of responsibility, attack the diffusion of responsibility. That's what you have to do as your best chance of getting somebody to help you. In other words, don't yell help. Generally, pick a person, yell you help. If it's someone yell their name. Yell their name. That way, there's not this diffusion of responsibility, because what you've done is you personalized it, and now someone is responsible. And even if that person flaked and didn't help, generally what you're going to have is another person in the group saying, "Look at that son of a bitch, man, he's yelling to help. Why ain't you helping?" Or then they go do it. And once again, once one person helps, others are more likely to do so because it destroys the pluralistic ignorance and social proof. But to get it in that instance, you have to destroy the diffusion of responsibility first and make someone responsible, and everything, to get them to act. Because a lot of times, if you break down the diffusion of responsibility, with a certain individual, that person, will help. Not always, nothing's 100%, but that's your best chance. Because, like I said, you have to attack diffusion of responsibility, and if you successfully attack diffusion of responsibility, the pluralistic ignorance and social proof, can't hold. You're going to get that help. So now we understand bystander effect exists. We understand some of the things that make up the bystander effect. And now we have some tools that you can use to counter the bystander effect. So hopefully, these, can help some people out. I appreciate your time. And once again, any of these episodes, but especially this one, I encourage you to share it as anywhere and everywhere, because of the simple fact that in this situation, education and sharing it could actually make a difference. Because if you destroy the pluralistic ignorance ahead of time, there's less likely, a bunch of people are going to be standing around watching someone, get hurt or get assaulted. And education is the way to do that. So you need long and you need short. And that's pretty much it. I appreciate your time, and I hope you learned something. I hope maybe this get a dialogue going between you and your friends. But share it. Get out there, because people need to be educated, because this is a pretty jacked up thing. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.